Hey there, you bots and prompters. Welcome to Power Prompting episode 3 now, where today I have a bit of an issue. I have to make roughly 5 marketing brochures before the end of the week. Ultimately, I'm not too sure on how to really do that, but I think AI can make that happen in just enough time. Brian, you maybe have any sort of tips or anything we could do to make that happen a little bit quicker?
Yeah, in your case, you're having to create the same brochure across multiple verticals.
Exactly.
So creating the content is always the biggest slip up for building these brochures. So Ian, we can build this in a normal way where we go back and forth with an agent. We can of course do it much faster with an agent here or some kind of LLM of some sort, or we can use a super prompt.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so a super prompt, once we go back and forth the first time, we can say, tell the chat GPT, Copilot, whatever your chatting preference of choice is, that I want to turn this into a super prompt.
Okay.
And then all that 20 times going back and forth gets encapsulated into one single prompt that is bot friendly. It already knows what you're looking for in the end. So it skips right to the final chapter where you find out who killed the Colonel Mustard.
Oh, okay. So, and that's different from like our company profile that we made in episode 1, right?
We can use that to answer a lot of the questions that it's already going to have.
Excellent.
So that only adds more juice to the fire here when it's all done. Yeah.
So it seems like we're just giving AI a lot of information and it's using that and really just making the best output it can then.
Absolutely. So if you want to include like rate structures and pricing, then that profile makes a lot of sense. So you only have to answer 2 questions versus the 5 or 6 that the super prompt will give you.
Excellent. Okay, well, let's take a look at what that looks like.
Let's try it. So, okay, you want to build a brochure. Now, we happen to have one. You're modeling it after an existing brochure. So I'm going to go ahead and this is, by the way, we built in the description of this video, we built an article that you can kind of follow along with us. You can even download the same brochure that we'll be using today right here. That's under hands-on or right there. So that will kind of get you started and you can kind of play along. But this works for any example. You can use these for filling out grant writings, for responding to an RFP, request for proposal. You can do it for a number, creating a quote for a customer. So once you build this one time, why go back and have to go back and forth 20 times with this? So I downloaded the brochure already, and I also have a starter prompt so you guys don't have to watch me type this. Let me go back over here again. All right, there we go. So in my case, I'm just going to paste this in here, and I'll zoom in so we all can kind of take it out. Now you'll notice I'm using these little brackets here also. That's called XML. And it kind of informs the bot, when you look at the guts of what's going on behind the scenes, this case this is Copilot, it's kind of transforming a lot of this into XML to kind of figure out how to answer my question.
Awesome.
So by telling it these are instructions, and I have a close and an open, it becomes a little bit more intelligent on how it kind of answers this. So in my case, I'm saying I want to build a brochure. I need you to get the information from pragmaticworks.com, put your own domain name there. I also want to, here's an example, I want you to ask me for what brochure I'm going to upload, ask what industry we're going to do, and ultimately ask me one question at a time. Sometimes it's better than others about that. There's some keywords you want to put that kind of force it to do that, like role play or interview me one question at a time. And then model the brochure after the current one. So that's kind of how I'm starting. You notice I had to say the same thing multiple times because sometimes bots are a little bit stupid.
Especially when it comes to this back and forth. It sometimes just wants to give you what it wants and nothing else. So
right,
having
exactly.
it ask questions really benefits.
And the other time it's going to ask you the question even though you put modeled after the existing brochure in the freaking prompt. But this case, we'll see how it does. So I'm going to tell it to go. And the first question it's going to ask me, of course, is to upload the brochure. This is the brochure that's on the LinkedIn article. So there we go. I'll zoom in a little closer so you guys can see this. Oh, could you please upload the brochure? Oh, it did say please. Nice. So let's go ahead and drag that over here. It's going to drag it into my prompt area here. It's going to upload. Brochure attached. All right. There we go. Again, this is using Copilot. Behind the scenes, Copilot at Microsoft is essentially ChatGPT under the covers. Now, they are changing that now where you can have your own agent. You can actually encapsulate all these instructions as super prompt into an agent down the road, whether it be a GPT agent or a Copilot agent or a Copilot Studio agent. You also have the ability to go through and try other types of, like this is GPT-5 right now. Right now I'm using 4.1 Mini, for example. But you can also now integrate things like Claude into this. So that has some other consequences behind that, but do some neat stuff here. All right, so as we can see, it's going through, it's read my brochure, it found like what the format looks like. Great. which is like a detailed breakdown, a one-page summary. Okay, so I want this. Oops, sorry. I want the same brochure for a new vertical. All right, there we go. As you can see, it's ignoring my prompt in this case. 3 times I did this before this, and it asked for the vertical every single time. But the one time I go live, it's the nature of it. All right, so now it's asking what vertical that I want to target. Let's go after healthcare in this case. And any specific services. And I'll say, again, I'm going to tell it the same thing again. Until the super prompt is really crafted, it's going to be a little stupid. It's going to ask me stupid questions, even though the original origin of this, I told it what to do. So I'm going to go ahead and say healthcare and use the same software products in the brochure. So ultimately, just kind of pull this brochure up real quick so you can kind of see what we're trying to model it after here. If I grab this guy here, oh, there it goes. So I wanted to kind of look at these agents. This one's geared at government sector, but look at these examples and have a healthcare example in this case. I also wanted to look at the products down here, Power BI, Power Apps, so on, and build a healthcare example for that. And then lastly, the services are the same. Everything else is about saying why partner with us. This should have healthcare examples down here also. So I wanted to kind of take the existing content and model it after that. And that's that time suck that really normally eats up all our time. And I just minimized my tool. All right, there we go. All right, so let's go healthcare and then use the same software products in the brochure, but with healthcare examples. All right, so you see this back and forth part? It's kind of a little annoying.
It's tedious.
Right? It's tedious. Now this one, I got there in just a few questions. But normally, this back and forth would have been 8 or 9 times, 10. When I first did this example earlier, it's doing much better this time for part of this. But when I did the example earlier, it was probably 20 back and forths. So now, I've got the back and forths happening. Now, I think what's happening in reality here is it's looking at my past chats I did earlier today when I was kind of rehearsing this, and it may be pulling some of that from that. So when Ian tries this, he'll try incognito or temporary chat to kind of show that area. Now, after we have this done, you can see it basically built that. We'll look at healthcare data, operational insights, real-time patient things there. We have some engagement. So all this stuff is really talking about healthcare. So it did its job. But let's assume instead of going back and forth 4 or 5 times, which is kind of nice for a webinar, it went back 20 times. Now, what I can do now is I can go through and say, yeah, all right, so take the back and forth we just did and build it into a super prompt, and you want to ask for a markdown format. Okay, markdown is going to have a whole bunch of, almost like HTML, has like double hashtags in some area. It looks a little bit codish, but it's very human readable though. So you'll be able to look at this and understand what's going on. So markdown format, I want to make the website and industry dynamic by asking questions of the prompter. Okay, good enough. So when it does this, it's going to hopefully ask me, may or may not ask me one more question. Let's see. Okay, there it goes. Oh, sorry, I can't chat about this right now. Okay, well that's rude. All right, let's try this one more time. I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste my other example, which is exactly the same. And it is giving me, start a new chat. All right, I want to try one more time here. This is the nature of, nature of this. Unfortunately, I just killed the other example. Let me start one more time here. And I'll just kind of buzz through it so we can kind of see. All right, there we go.
But going back and forth like this just over and over again, even if it is only 4 or 5 times, if you're having to do this task over and over and over again, that's going to add up and it's going to take up a lot of time. So having a super prompt like this is really going to cut down on all of that tedium.
Exactly, yeah. So that's the best part about this. Once you do this, and you'll find on our LinkedIn articles that we posted out there, we generally post a super prompt out there so you don't have to do this back and forth. All right, I'll just say attached, and I'll say read the website, and we should get a relatively good answer here. And let me go back and get our final, so you don't have to watch me type this again here. All right, I'll just say very good. Make it for the healthcare industry. See, it's definitely reading my history here in this case. Working on a response. Come on. Please wait. I wonder if something's going on with GPT today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways. So there it goes. All right. Perfect. Stop telling me to please wait. It's getting frustrating. Now notice I'm in the free mode of Copilot also. This of course works even better in the work mode, so it can pull from your company history and all that as well. But right now it's pulling from just my history in general. But this work mode also pulls from emails I may have done, proposals I may have written, and all that kind of work history, that work and tribal knowledge that I have. All right, so we can go ahead and say next question. You can upload an example brochure, like I just did. All right, let's try again here. I literally just did this. All right, let's tell it the brochure is actually attached this time, and I've already done that. So it is actually being a little stupid right now. All right, there we go. Can you re-upload the brochure? Once I'll have it, then I can go.
It looked like it might not have fully sent in.
Oh, I must have hit the send button before I... All right, there we go. Oh, that's exactly what happened.
There we go.
Yeah, I must have dragged and... All right, nature of a live show, Ian.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally just deleted the history of this last chat. There we go. So it's doing based on the government sector. All right, now we can say, okay, let's give them the different sections. Next question, which healthcare subvertical? Now it's actually asking more the questions I saw last time. So it wants subvertical, like do you want hospitals? Do you want institutions? Do you want public health? Let's do hospitals. All right, now this is a little more appropriate now. And then now it's going to hopefully ask, what challenge are you trying to solve, patient care and all that. So it's trying to get a better answer. So let's go ahead and say, let's go with patient care. This should be roughly the last question. Okay. Here we go.
Any moment now.
All right, there we go. Perfect. Next question. All right, see the back and forth here? I'll say just, use the existing brochure and change the examples. There we go. All right, understood. It's so happy. All right, next question. Just create the brochure. All right, so I'm just going to tell it to skip the rest of the questions. All right, so once this is done, here we go. All right, healthcare hospital. So it's got the hospitals now, so it actually is micro-focused to a subvertical versus just a vertical. There we go. Now I can go through and hopefully, let's build this into a super prompt. Let's see if it'll actually do it this time. There we go. Wow. Look at that. All right. Helps when the chat platform's a little more happy. So you'll see this is a really long one. This is what markup looks like, or markdown looks like, excuse me. So it has these little stars next to it, little dashes. So it looks like a regular prompt, but it's very specific. This is what AI likes to see. So when I go ahead and copy and paste this in, but I'm going to go to my LinkedIn article where I've already got this in here. And let's try this against a different platform this time. So I'm going to go against Gemini maybe. Okay, there we go. All right, I think I've got Gemini sitting right here. I'll paste that into Gemini. And now for Gemini, it also wants to read websites and all that. You have to turn on some other things like URL context and those kind of things to get it to read the website. But I'll turn it off just for a second to kind of watch it in action here. All right, so there it goes. So now it should hopefully now ask the same thing. So this is a way of making your prompts portable, where they work across multiple platforms, right? Like maybe Gemini is giving me the best answer this time. Maybe it was Copilot the best answer because it has my company information. But you can use this to build a prompt that works cross-platform. There we go. So Gemini already is asking for, please upload your brochure. There we go. In a standard layout. So it's going through the same process now that I did before without the having to kind of figure out what kind of questions to ask.
It took all of, what, 2 seconds compared to, at least the 2 or 3 minutes you spent fighting with that?
Right, exactly. Now it will ask me other questions. The next question will be the vertical and all those kind of things also. But if I were to, literally just drag this over to Gemini, it's ready to rock and roll. But now I can hand this to a junior employee, potentially, and all my brain is in the super prompt now. So I'll go ahead and just hit run on that. And let's see how it looks on ChatGPT also. So there's my brochure. It's uploading right now. And while this is kind of processing, you'll see it'll ask my vertical next. We won't go through the whole process over again, but let's see how it looks on GPT. How's it work there?
Sounds good. So mind you, we haven't done anything here over in GPT. It has no other context history it can go off of. And even if it did, I'm in a temporary chat right now. So there's no information it has to go off of prior to this. So I'm going to take Brian's super prompt and put it into here. And we are going to send it and see how ChatGPT responds. So we got to give it a moment, but all right, wow, it really picked up on it quick. So now it's just asking me to upload the brochure, so I'm going to do that real quick.
Now in my Gemini case here also, while you're uploading that, it's also asking for the company website. So even though I hard-coded the prompt originally, now it's actually allowing me to make it dynamic. So now it's asking the prompter, yourself, who wants to use it for their company, their website, versus having Pragmatic Works hard-coded in there.
Wow, that's awesome.
All right, let's see how yours looks.
So looks like I sent the brochure over. It's analyzed it. Excellent. All right, so it has it. So now I need to ask it to provide the brochure, correct? So next up, let's make a brochure for, let's do gaming.
Okay.
Gaming it is. It'll make it vibrant and high energy.
You don't want to use our wagon ride?
Yeah, I don't know if that will really go over too well, as we learned yesterday. So it's asking me for the company website again. So I will say...
And that's perfect, right? That's what we were hoping for. Because I did hard code the original prompt, pragmaticworks.com, but now it's actually letting it almost like a program.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then it's asking for who the target audience is. Just refer to the prompt and brochure for reference to the audience.
But in a normal situation, you would probably provide that, right? So, because it could be gaming for the developer, gaming for IT, gaming for the business folks. So it makes sense, right? Because it's going to really tune those examples to those folks in this case. And look at that.
Wow, awesome. So next step, here we go. So this is the text version of it. Empowering gaming with data, automation, and AI. Wow.
Awesome.
And it followed it seamlessly.
And in Gemini's case, it's going the exact same path. So in Gemini's case, now asking for the industry, I'll say manufacturing in my case. I'll go a little interesting here, a little different angle here. And now it's asking, all right, who am I targeting? Let's target this to IT teams in manufacturing. All right. Again, this is 3 different types of LLMs now. We've done Copilot, GPT in your case, Gemini in my case, and I've tried against Grok. It even works there also.
And it's the same prompt.
It's the same exact prompt. All right, next question. Do you want to feature AI? So this is an interesting one. I noticed that some of the prompts, well, sometimes asking, do you want to feature certain products? I'll say, use the same products that are in the brochure. So it's asking if I want to kind of focus the brochure on certain products, and I'm saying no. But then hopefully in this case, it's ready to go. It will scan the website, and got it. And here we go. So next, all right, include a tagline. Let's say suggest one. So in my core prompt, I should have said build 3 options for taglines and all that, where GPT was a little bit smarter in that case. I think in your case, it actually did give you some taglines.
Yeah, give me a full list of 5, actually.
In my case, it's kind of still asking questions. So it did build the stuff here in this case, back and forth, but it is asking me some more questions. Do you want text? Yeah, give me text drafts. So I could have built more into the super prompt to where it kind of forced it to build the text and all that. But in my case, it's kind of building both in this case. So, and then in yours, there we go. So it's now building it out right now. Please bear with me for a moment while I synthesize your example. So anyways, Gemini will eventually come back here also. Now, for my Copilot users, you could also have built this directly into an agent. So you'll notice on the left side here in Copilot, you can create your own agent. Oh, where to go? There we go. Create an agent. And then once you have that agent, if you're a Microsoft user, you can then publish this to something like Teams or your, right here in M365 chat. Or you can even publish it to somewhere a little more like a Word doc, for example. So you can actually see this right inside of Word as you're building out a proposal. You can ask it to build the next vertical for you. So teaching these agents with your super prompts is an excellent way to kind of do it manually like you and I did, or build it through an agent for more burstful kind of stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so let's go check real quick and make sure there's no questions. I think we may have them. Let's double check. Ian, anything else you want to add here?
I don't think I have anything else other than just that, this super prompting works for anything. It's not just for marketing brochures. Anything you can think of to really build out, and just as long as you have that repetitive task that you're going to be asking over and over again, why not copy it and save it somewhere? Really just be, I think of it like a spell book almost. Every time I make another really good prompt, I'm going to save that to my spell book, and I have that to call upon at any time.
Spoken like a dungeon master, right?
Exactly.
All right. So yeah, very, very good analogy there. So absolutely is just like like a spell book where you have, or a macro where you have something that you just like call on the logic on. That's why these agents in Copilot Studio are so awesome there as well. Well, thank you for joining us today. We got one more to go on tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm excited about, we're going to teach AI to be a thought partner also. So join us tomorrow for tomorrow's session at 11 o'clock East Coast time for power prompting.
See you then.
Take care.